or uploads is the case for you.
Okay, let's start then. Welcome, beloveds. I like to use that word, beloveds. It's a Sufi word for. It's kind of like Jai Baba. It's referring to the divine in each of us. So welcome, beloveds, to this meditation today. And for those of you who are new, Cindy, this is a Sufi 4-layer of the heart guided meditation. Okay, and I'll just briefly go through the 4 layers again. That within us, the teaching is that we carry within us the whole of creation, visible and invisible, and we're a hologram. And so these 4 layers are the levels, the 4 levels of all creation, from the physical world to the world of reality, the ultimate. Okay, so and that all levels of reality are actually within the heart. And the Buddha even taught that the mind, what we think of as our intellect, our mind, is really based in the heart. It's the upper level of the heart. So that's why the 4 layers of the heart. So the first layer is really just our usual ego self. It's what keeps us focused in the world and identify with our body and helps us. We need that to navigate through the world, make a living, have a life in the world. But that's only a small part of us. That's the uppermost layer. Okay? Sufis teach that it's a veil that we can't really know the truth through our ego mind. It's a principle of separation, I, me, mine, and you, and defensiveness, resistance to change, and that the ego mind can be enlightened if it's getting light and guidance from the heart, if it's connected to the heart. If not, then oftentimes, the worst part, the Sufis call it the nafs, N-A-F-S, of the ego mind, is that voice of the nafs is what directs people's decisions and actions. So it's separation, hatred, greed, selfishness, narcissism to the extreme. Just read the newspapers, and that's so much of the world is nafs driven. So. But doesn't have to be. That first layer of the mind doesn't have to be the lower elements of the ego. It can be the higher mind operating too, the white mind at best. And then the second layer is where we start to connect to our deeper heart. And even with the ego base functioning, we saw people have feelings, but those feelings are often, separative feelings of jealousy, anger, hatred, inferiority, shame, all that. But the deeper levels of the heart is what we're talking about, where we can, it's in that layer, the second layer of the heart, we can first begin to really experience our divinity. It's only there. And all the great masters, Mayor Baba, everyone says it's, it's the heart, stupid. It's only there that we can begin to awaken. And in Sufism, what Sufism is all about is awakening the heart. And often that means the Sufi teacher or master will spin the heart center. Inwardly, the heart chakra, spin it. And it's that spinning that awakens it. It feels like it's vibrating at a higher frequency. The mind spins at a great rate. And so we identify with the mind, the thoughts. If the heart hasn't been awakened, it's the mind that dominates our consciousness. But if the heart's been awakened, then there's a spinning, and it's easier to start living in the heart and to start feeling the deeper feelings of joy, compassion, oneness, etc. So that's the second layer of the heart. And this is what we go through in the meditation. And then the third layer is even the deeper, the innermost chamber of the heart, the layer of the soul. And that's where the deep, deep silence of the divine is, and where our divine qualities reside, the book of the heart. The divine in Sufism, there's the 99 qualities of God. In Persian, there's 101 qualities of God, and that we all participate. We all we're alive because these qualities of God, compassion, strength, love, wisdom, are within us. And most of us, in our outer personality, we enact a distorted version of these qualities. And through awakening the heart, awakening the soul at the third level, we can begin to and our outer personality begins to mirror more the true qualities of the divine. And it's only when you're perfected that it's 100%, but we can start to mirror them somewhat more than if we're just doing them through our ego, you know. And it's called the secret because it's a sphere of mystery, and God, and each layer has a voice. That's important. The voice of the ego that's telling us, this is the way the world is, this is the way you are, this is the way I am, and it's usually based on some falsehood. And then there's the voice of the heart, the voice of intuition. And then at a deeper level, the voice, it's the divine is speaking to us. We just have to listen with that inner ear, the ear of and the guidance we get from the second and third layers are for our guidance about how to live in the world, decisions we make, and also spiritual guidance, where to go. The guidance that led you to this meditation today, or the guidance that led people to their master or to Mayor Baba is coming from that layer. That's the voice. He's speaking to us through that layer. So we can the idea is we can cultivate, rather than just passively waiting for something to happen, we can actively cultivate our sensitivity and awareness of these layers by doing a meditation like this. And then the fourth layer is the union, the oneness, the union. And it's beyond words. It's the ultimate. It's the ocean of divinity. And we can get a little taste of that. And these layers correspond in some way to, Mayor Baba talked about the subtle world. There's 4 planes of the subtle world. And it's not that you're going to become an advanced soul through this meditation, but way I see it, it's like we can, like these are inner vaults, like a vault that's shut. But we can put our ear against the vault and kind of feel the frequency of it or hug it, you know, and you kind of say, this is this inner vault of which contains all these mysteries and secrets is within me, and you acknowledge it, embrace it. It doesn't mean you're going to be fully subtle, you know, a saint. I'm not saying that, but I find it helps to remind us that we contain all these inner worlds within us. And that last week I was talking about how the remembrance can be done at different levels. You know, there's the remembrance of the divine. You say the divine name in your mind, you know, from the head, or you do it from the heart. So I do it from the soul. So the remembrance is a practice that evolves over time. It's not a static process. I wanted to, this 4 layers of the heart model has lots of different applications. One of them is for relationships. I wrote this article and I just want to draw people's attention to it if I can find it here. It's not there. What happened to it? Can you see that at all? Or do I have to do a share screen? Let me share the screen. Hold on. All right, can you see that? Sufi perspective on relationships. Do you see that on your screen?
Yes.
I see it.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, good. You can get to this. It's on, if you just Google Yogi Times and Sufism perspective on relationships. It's an article I wrote several years ago, and it's applying the 4 layers of the heart to relationships. How relationships can be lived and experienced on these different layers. For most people, it's ego to ego, you know, and they work about 50% of the time at best, right? So I just want to point that out to you. So the Sufis have this model for relationships, and they teach that. So how to be with your partner, and it's best, of course, if both of you are on a spiritual path and sharing this, you know. So okay, so there's that, and then the other application is forgiveness. Laurent Weisberger, he wrote a book, published a book a few years ago on forgiveness, and I have a chapter in there on in the book. And what I did was take the whole whole idea of forgiveness and apply this 4-layer of the heart model to it. And so, just briefly, I think it works beautifully. If you're at the ego level, you don't want to forgive, right? Like, you hurt me, you did this terrible thing to me, and if you're just living out of your nafs, and I'm going to avoid you, or I'm going to punish you, I'm going to get revenge, but I'm going to hold on to this. And then at some point you realize that doesn't work. It's not working for you. It's damaging you to hold on to that. So lots of people these days want to do forgiveness. And so that the forgiveness at the layer of the heart, the second layer of the heart, is where I forgive you. I want to forgive you. Yes, you hurt me and you did this to me, but I forgive you. I don't want to hold on to it. I'll let it go. And working through that pain or suffering or anger, resentment, and with the idea of letting it go. So it's not contracting or your heart in relation to this person or more in general. And that's a beautiful thing to do. More and more people are doing that. And whether or not you actually are around the person who hurt you or not doesn't matter. But there's a deeper level of forgiveness. And there's those of you who have heard of Ho'oponopono. It's a Hawaiian healing method. And that's like a soul-based forgiveness. That's like the third layer of the heart. And from there, you're the one always doing forgiving. That the idea is whoever hurts us is outsourcing. It's a projection of our sanskaras. It's a projection of memories. And that this event came into my life. All our whole life experience is this projection of our sanskaras, but particularly people who we have intense karma with or who hurt us. It's a projection of, you take responsibility for it without blaming yourself. But this is an old memory coming to me, and it's an opportunity to heal it. So there's a 4-part prayer they use, and these 4 parts are kind of cover the 4 levels of the heart. And the first one is, please forgive me. So you're asking for forgiveness. And the second part is, you just say that, I'm sorry. And the third part is, I love you. And the fourth part is, thank you, gratitude. And they kind of covers all the bases. And by doing that prayer, it washes the memory. And I've seen that happen. If someone has hurt you, you're holding on to this hurt or woundedness, by working with this prayer, the person actually changes, or things in the outer world change without actually interacting with the person. It's kind of somehow clears a memory and something new happens. And I've seen that happen several times. It's kind of miraculous. So it's a soul-based level of forgiveness, like level 3, where instead of forgiving the other person or anybody, we're on our knees asking forgiveness because everything is coming out of us. Okay? But you do it without blaming yourself. So it's an advanced form of forgiveness. And then the 4th layer of forgiveness, I don't know, like nothing's happened. And a Sufi teacher once gave this metaphor. I really like it. If we're living in our ego and someone hurts us, it's like a wet cement and a finger passing through wet cement, and it leaves a permanent scar. It hardens if you want to stay there. Okay? And level 2 would be like passing a finger through water. And yet you can churn up the water, or a storm on water. It churns up the water. And so you do have strong emotional responses, but it resolves quickly. And it doesn't leave any permanent damage. Okay? And then level 3 is like passing your finger through air. If you could see it, an airplane going through air, your finger, it's moving the air, but you don't see it. It's barely visible. And that would be like what I just talked about, the level 3 of forgiveness. Okay, let's start.
I have a question.
Yes, go ahead.
I've been meaning to ask this every week.
Okay.
When we get to, when you say to breathe, we put our hands on our hearts and blah, 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 blah. And when you say breathe, I don't know whether you say breathe with the heart or breathe through the heart.
Or breathe into the heart. Or
breathe into the heart.
Just let the heart breathe in and out. So
right, as opposed to other breathing,
or regular breathing. It's a more subtle.
Very okay.
And it helps the heart to get into a natural wave-like rhythm, which is really beneficial.
Hey, Joe.
Yes.
You may want to stop share unless you have a pretty image or something you want to put up.
No,
we don't want to look at Zoom.
There you go. There you go. Okay, good. Yeah. So before I forget, next week I want to talk about, in the beginning, I may forget at the end, St. Teresa's 4 levels of prayer. It's very similar to this. So I'll talk a little bit about that. Okay, so let's start. And let's start with just closing our eyes and say a prayer, invocation, asking our beloved, whoever our beloved is, Mayor Baba, whoever that we turn to for divine guidance, the Great Spirit, ask him to be with us in this meditation and to feed our hearts whatever love and peace and blessings that he is generous enough to give us today. We do it with that intention to open our hearts more fully to being with our beloved, to experience the love and light and peace that he is always showering on us. So we'll close our eyes and start to go inside and getting comfortable in your seat, wherever you are in your room. Just paying attention to acknowledging that you have a body, that you're here in the physical form. And just sensing where your body is making contact with the chair or the back of the wall. And just centering yourself as much as possible in your body. And with this meditation, we're not leaving the body. We want to embody these divine qualities in all our bodies, including our physical body, so that the very cells of our body are receiving the light and love of the divine from the tip of our toes to the top of our head. Yes, some of you may have had that experience of that light and energy in your body when you're feeling close. And then just bringing your awareness throughout your body, being with your body, just noticing what the sensations are, the felt sense of your sensations. Maybe feeling the stream of life energy that's moving through our physical bodies. It's that same energy that moves through nature, moves through trees, the prana energy. It's always moving through our physical body. And just being with our breath or regular breathing for a moment in an intimate kind of way. This is your breath. Just being with the gentle rise and fall of the breath. And as we do that, let there be a letting go. Just letting go and opening and softening, letting whatever muscles that want to soften, just soften with the breath. And throughout this meditation, just the receiving, so it's not a doing or making any kind of effort. It's just an opening, receiving, letting go, not opposing anything. You know, we can imagine our whole being, just one field of energy, breathing throughout the whole body is breathing. Just breathing in space, alert awareness, wakefulness. So we'll begin to make a connection to our heart center. And what we usually do in the beginning is put your right hand on your upper chest and the area of the heart. You don't have to keep it there the whole meditation, but it's a nice way to make an initial connection. You can if you want to. It's a nice thing to do other times in the day. Often if you're feeling a little scattered or whatever, your mind's racing, just put your hand on your heart. So if you can feel that connection between your hand and your heart center, you feel like that field of energy. It is, we're making a connection. So like plugging in. We do this with the intention that we're connecting to a very special place in our being. The heart, all the spiritual teachers always emphasize that this is a very special place. We should protect our own hearts, and protect the hearts of other people, because it's the home of the divine. And so here we begin to taste that truth of who we are. Now, just slowly shifting our breathing from our regular breathing to the breathing in and out of the heart. It's like a subtle breath. Just don't try to make it happen. Just, it's happening. It's always happening. So just being with that heart breath. I always like to visualize it as like a gentle ocean wave, rise and fall. So what we'll be doing today, the guided layers of the heart meditation, we'll be traveling deep, deep, deep into our hearts to the place where the presence of God is carried within us. Just for a moment, just be with whatever is in your heart right now. Just be with it, whatever sensations are moving in the heart, felt sense. And this meditation helps us to know how to be with that divine presence. Creating a pathway, a channel to go right inside and be with the divine. And keeping in mind that the spiritual heart is a microcosm, a hologram of all the levels of reality as God created them. The Sufis like to quote Allah in the Quran, who says, "My heavens and my earth cannot contain me. Only the hearts of my faithful servants can contain me." So the layers of the heart interpenetrate each other within us and in all of existence, inside and outside. It's our hearts that contain the fullness of existence, His reality. And it's through our hearts that we travel layer by layer back to the source of our existence. And as a guide on our travel inward, we'll be doing the remembrance. And the remembrance is simply repeating the name of the Most High, the name of our beloved. For many of us, it would be Meher Baba. It doesn't have to be. It could be Sufis. It's always Allah. It could be the Great Spirit, Jesus, Buddha, whoever name you have for the Most High. Just bring that into your heart and place it beneath your hand with the breath, with the heart breath. Sufis would do it slowly with the breath. It would sound Allah, Allah. And it resonates. Dear Baba. Slowly with the breath, repeating the name. And this is the most ancient spiritual practice known to man, just repeating the name in all traditions. And there Baba emphasized that we say his name inwardly. And that the Sufis teach that the name, we talk about the qualities, the 99 qualities of God, the 101 qualities in Persian, that the name contains all those qualities. And the name helps to wash our heart, polish the heart, clean the heart, and awaken the heart. And through the awakening, the heart starts to spin in a higher frequency. Just be with that for a moment and just sensing as you are placing the name in your heart, what that's like in your heart, what it feels like, what the sensations are. What we're doing is invoking the presence and light of God to come into our being. So just try to open to receive this presence and this light the best you can. This comes in with the breath. And setting our intention again to allow the flow of divine love to come in through our hearts and arrive in with the breathing. That's it, just like that. And again, just receiving, just opening and receiving. So we'll explore the 4 layers of the heart together. So we've kind of anchored ourselves in our heart. We can now just bring our awareness into what's called the first layer of the heart, our usual ego mind, that first layer. And just noticing kinds of thoughts that have been passing through this first layer of our mind today, in recent day. What are we preoccupied with? What are we worried about? What's drawing our attention in our own lives, or perhaps what's going on in the world? A lot to think about, a lot to worry about. No judgment, just being with it, just noticing it. Just validating that this is the first layer of our heart, of our being. We need this to function in the world, but it's not all of who we are. And that it is a veil. The nafs, or the self, helps us to function in this world through our physical senses, sight, hearing, taste, and touch, and is concerned with our physical and material survival. It defends us against threats, physical or emotional. The self is very concerned that we have everything we need in this life and that we are safe. And it can get really fascinated by the material world as it helps us navigate this life, which alternates usually between ease and difficulty. But often it gets corrupted and impure by what it encounters in life. And then that veils us as we start to listen to that voice, the first layer, the voice of the nafs. It veils us from the truth of who we really are, where we come from, and our connection with the divine. Usually the voices that we're less than, we don't deserve this, or we're better than, or I'm right, they're wrong, I'm wrong, they're right. So the human journey really becomes one of returning to our original state of purity and reconnecting with our soul, which is our way back to the oneness with God. Another characteristic of this level is a great desire to keep things the same and resist change, which is unpredictable. It can appear to be dangerous in the eyes of the self, like certainty. And its stress, quest for safety in the world. So again, just observing this self of ours, how it's navigating through our world and the thoughts and the feelings that go with it. Maybe often feelings of anxiety or fear, possibly. And let's start bringing the name into this first layer. Bring that holy name into it. See if we can just bring some light into the mind. In the spiritual teaching, the best way to change our thinking isn't directly. It's like the ego trying to change itself. It's by opening the channel to the deep hearts, and then the deeper feelings, the deeper perceptions of the deep heart will filter upwards into the first layer. And then we have different thoughts. We perceive the world differently. We perceive ourselves, others, the world differently. It just happens naturally. It's not like we get into combat with our own thinking or feeling. But it's a matter of opening that channel for the light and love to percolate up. All right, so let's return back to our heart center. Maybe putting a hand on the heart again. That's our layer of the heart. It's beautiful. It has its worth. We need it, and it has its spiritual limitation. And this time we're going to go deeper into the heart center, into the second layer. So just centering ourselves again, centering ourselves in the body, in the chair, as we begin journeying inward. We do this just by going behind where we were before, and just dropping in deeper and deeper into the heart. It just happens naturally. And just allowing that name to take us there. It wants to go home. So it serves as an anchor to go. The anchor is dropping deeper into our heart center. And just opening and opening, going deeper and deeper. And have to push, just some allowing, just transiting into the second layer. Sometimes it feels like crossing from one place to another, like moving through a threshold or a membrane. So if you were going underwater, getting quieter, just dropping down and trusting, continuing open and open, just going deeper. Into the deep heart. When you feel you've gotten there, just settling in. Just being with your own experience. Continuing, breathe, the heart. And appreciating that this is a tender, very special place within us. You notice different thoughts, different feelings, different images, like colorful fish if we were scuba diving. I sense there's a different frequency. I even hear a faint ringing sound as you tune into that frequency. So a Rumi poem from the Divan. Close the mouth of speech, open the window of the heart. The moon's kisses come only through that window. And close your mouth, open the window of your hearts, for that is where the souls meet and converse. And remembering the name deep in the heart. Noticing what that feels like. Remembering the second layer of the heart. And Saint Teresa, in her book of prayer, encourages us to bring in the image of the beloved. For her, it was Jesus, Mary Baba, whoever your beloved is, or some great teacher who you admire. Bring in that image, that person, that being into your heart. This deep heart, welcoming him in, and just being with him, being with the beloved, as if you're sitting next to him or her. And just allowing the heart to drink in the love and light that's coming from our beloved. And the heart drink and drink and drink. So Sufi say, all hearts are thirsty for this love. It's what everyone is seeking. And the heart fill and expand and open like a flower, a rose opening. If there's a word or a phrase that could describe your experience right now, just notice, just identify that and just repeat that slowly in the heart. Be love, peace, serenity, joy. Appreciating the sense of refinement and subtlety. Heightened sensitivity. So beautiful. Feels like there's an opening now, so we won't stop here. We'll continue dropping in further into the heart, just dropping in behind where you are now, and just transiting in deeper and deeper to the third layer of the heart, layer of the secret, layer of the soul. And it just happens naturally, letting the name of the Most High, of our beloved, take you there. Or you can imagine He's taking us by the hand and walking us. The guide takes the hand of the disciple and takes him home. Just dropping in deeper and deeper, opening, opening, just an allowing. Don't have to think about it. Everyone has these four layers of the heart within. It's a reality. It's your reality. It's your truth. So we're dropping into this layer of the soul, that innermost sanctum of the heart, into that deep silence, your love of silence. Maybe more refined, more settled. And the heart continues to drink, but maybe it's a sweeter kind of nectar, some rare kind of milk like peacock milk, some rare nourishment. Just drinking and drinking. Sweeter. Again, Rumi, oh, the silent one. Where is the heart hidden? Beneath the tongue, when the words are gone, the heart is revealed. Stop talking. What a shame you have no familiarity with inner silence. Polish your heart for a day or two. Make that mirror your book of contemplation. Yeah, Mayor Baba said the book that I will make people read is the Book of the Hearts. And this is where the Book of the Hearts is hidden. It's your book. It's the book that holds the key to the mystery of life. That's why this is called the level of the secrets, the level of the mysteries. That are just shown to you or spoken to you with that voice, inner voice. When the Sufis say, what voice are you listening to as you're walking through your life? Are you listening to the voice of the mass, the voice of the heart, deep heart, the voice of the soul? Just let it in. Deep, deep heart, continue to drink. The beloved is there with us. Do you experience him in a different way, as his presence differently now than in the second layer? Maybe the same, maybe different. Just notice that. You might feel a sense of greater expansiveness. The heart, deep, deep heart is opening up beyond our own limited self, just opening up into this greatness of infinity. Just like times you've gone into a samadhi or a very holy place, a holy church or cathedral, or there's a holy vibration there, sacredness. You can feel it, it's palpable. I sense that here within. This is you, this is your holiness, not your ego self, but this is holiness, the divine you're carrying within you. And Rumi spoke about the mirror, and one of the images, the spiritual teachings of the Sufis is that it's this layer of the heart, there's a mirror, and the mirror is covered over with our false beliefs, life experiences deep in the heart, and that polishing the mirror, polishing the mirror, just repeating the name is the polish. As that mirror gets clean, it's reflecting the light from the source much more clearly, much more brightly. Just visualizing that. And the light from this mirror gets reflected into the second layer of the heart. It mirrors it, can mirror it up and through into our personality, so that channel is open. Another metaphor is that the divine qualities are like seeds. We all carry the seeds of the divine qualities. And as the soil is buried in the soil of our soul, and that repeating the name as water nourishes it. So those qualities, the seeds sprout and grow. I'll just read something from a Sufi teacher. If you live in this station, he gives you to drink from the secret nectar. The sweet nectar is from Al-Azal. He gives you to drink from his sweet nectar because he has wanted you from the beginning. Thank him, because if he had not wanted you, you could not have reached him. He has given you the chance to find this special way, the way of the deep love. Listen to what he says. He speaks to you in the language of love. You need to be polite to hear this language because it is different in every way. From the beginning, he has said, I am your God, know me. And what is your answer? Look in your heart, and you will find the answer. If he helps you, you can speak to him in a pure language. Yes, my Lord, I am your servant. Ask anything of me, for I want only your love. My soul is with you. Take from me and change me to return me to the original picture, the true picture. I want only to be your mirror, to see myself in your heart and in your soul. All knowledge can be seen from this mirror because you are the secret. Help me, my God, to clean this mirror to reflect only your love. In this station, you live in the holy garden of the truth. Your soul is the picture of the soul of God. This is not like any garden you have seen before. This is the garden of the soul. Through the eyes of the soul, there is nothing seen before like what they see now. There is no ear that can hear what the soul hears. It listens to the song of David, singing the songs of all the prophets. Its notes are from the soul and are very beautiful. This singing is not from the body because there is no body now. So we won't stop here. We'll continue journeying to the fourth layer, the layer of the unity, the oneness. So just, again, diving behind where we are now, just dropping into the fourth layer, going deeper and deeper inside, letting the name take you home. You can taste that ocean of love. Just dropping in, just letting go of any pictures of our own sense of identity of who we are. It's beyond words, beyond attributes, beyond color. Just dropping into that place. It's our true home. Usually we invite the divine into our heart, but here the Most High, the Beloved, is inviting us into His heart. So if you see an opening, just flow into the heart of the Beloved. He's inviting you. He's beckoning you to step into His heart. And so we'll just rest in that silently for a bit. So it would be nice to rest here forever. And let's start slowly, gradually returning, but also knowing that you can bring whatever you're experiencing with you. So it's not really leaving. So we'll drop back into the layer of the soul, third layer of the heart, and maybe getting a sense of that transition between the fourth and third layer, where we lose or regain our identity. Kind of like how where the bay flows into the ocean, that place where they merge, special place. There's a saying in a Sufi text, and someone wrote a book. It's called "Where the Two Seas Meet," where the human and the divine merge. Where the two seas meet. Go back into the third layer, that beautiful inner sanctum, the deep silence, the holiness, the sacredness. And the mirror, and our jewels. The jewels are the divine qualities that we carry within us. And then it's back into the second layer, the deep heart, and also maybe noticing that transition zone between the second and third layer. Very subtle. A little more personal in the second layer. A little more of us, but in a beautiful way. That child of light and love and spontaneity, our inner child, the divine child. So it's kind of like putting on a garment, the holy garment. I'm just really appreciating this deep heart, second layer. Thinking also of it also as a container for holding divine love, divine light. And then that membrane or transition zone between the second layer and the first layer of our ego self. Just making special note of that and setting our attention to keep that channel open. There's an influx of light and love, intuition, wisdom into the self that we bring into our everyday life as we move through our life, as we walk, talk, look. So we speak more with the voice of God. We move more with the movements of the divine. We see more through the eyes of the beloved. We see the truth more, less so to a veil. That only happens when that channel is kept open consciously. cultivate it open. Just really setting our deep intention for that to happen. And we'll get caught by our naps sometimes. That's okay. Everybody does. It's not like they're over. But just the more we do this meditation, then you can catch yourself. Oh, I'm being caught by the voice in the naps. You don't get swept away by them so intensely. And knowing that whatever he receives in this meditation this evening will continue to reverberate and resonate in your being throughout the rest of the evening, through the night while you're sleeping. Have a really peaceful, deep sleep. And through the day tomorrow, and maybe for a few days. And so also protect, making a decision to protect our heart from ways that we may harm it ourselves, or not allowing other people to harm it, or the world to harm it. It's a special garden. Just like you protect your own garden that you cultivate in your yard. Just protecting it's very, very special. Setting our intention to protect it without being closed, without armoring it. When you're ready, just open your eyes, return your awareness to the room. Take some deep breaths. Just continue to breathe for a moment through the heart with your eyes open. Just feeling your body, back in the body, feeling the flow of energy, light, presence flowing through your body, into the cells of your body, right into your palms of your hand, soles of your feet. Picture that light moving through every limb in our body, every system, every organ, through all the tissues and cells. It's all flowing right from the heart throughout the whole body. This beautiful wave pattern. All right, beloved, it's beautiful. Thank you for joining together. I always go much deeper when I do it with people, so thank you.
It was wonderful, Joe. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Joe, and thank you, Baba, and thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Right. Have a beautiful week. Peace. Namaste.
Thank you. You too, my dear.
Okay. I'll just close. Jai Baba.
Jai Baba.
Hey, Baba.